Hi there. This is Certified Master Life Coach Tina Heisman. Thank you so much for joining the call today. Before we get started, I want to let you know that I have a free private Happy Wives community on Facebook where you can come to get inspiration for your marriage. It's facebook.com/groups/the Happy Wives community. If you have trouble remembering that, just head on over to my website. It's tinaheisman.com, and there's a banner at the bottom of the front page that you can use to find it. So let's dive in. Today's call is about how to get your husband back after he has an affair. And I just want to say this is just a small piece of things that need to happen. This is just a brief moment in the journey of recovery that needs to happen. And I would first like to say, if you are going through this, I am so sorry for your pain. There is no bigger betrayal. It hurts so deeply. It feels hopeless, lonely, scary, and totally overwhelming. Sometimes you might want to hurt him the way he hurt you. Sometimes you might want to feel like you want to make him suffer. But you know this will not bring him back. More than anything, if you're on this call right now, what you want is to put your family back together. You believe that your husband is a good man, a good person who just made a bad choice. You love him, you believe in your love, and you feel like you're supposed to be together, but maybe you don't know where to start or if it's possible. And I have good news for you. Yes, it is possible. It's been done by many, many, many couples. It's not easy. Truly, in some ways, it would be easier to walk away, especially in the short term. But there's just too much at stake. So it's really worth the effort. And here's the other thing. This is not about your husband. This is about you. You have a choice right now with this crisis that has landed in your lap. You can decide to allow this crisis to make you bitter or to make you better. Or put another way, you can view this situation as something that's happening to you or something that's happening for you. I suggest that you view this crisis as a wake-up call, as an opportunity for you to work on yourself and make yourself whole. I think you should view this crisis as an opportunity to work on becoming the best version of yourself. And you know what? You have to do this in order to invite your husband back into your relationship. That's number one priority, is you taking care of you so that you will be in a healthy state for your husband. So I've got 10 tips for you. This is not really meant to be all-inclusive of every single thing, and some things will be appropriate in your case, some won't, but these are 10 tips. So maybe take some notes or, think about, as with any time that you're receiving information and teachings, you filter it through your filter, okay? So the first thing is to recognize the truth. Recognize the truth. The truth is that your husband's affair is not the cause of your broken marriage. Your broken marriage is what made your husband vulnerable to having an affair. I'm willing to bet that your husband didn't set out to have an affair. Most men don't. They just walk right into them with a series of bad choices. And they made those bad choices because either consciously or subconsciously they were unhappy in their marriage. The way that I look at it, your old marriage is dead and gone. It was broken, right? So we don't want to resurrect that. We want to learn from those mistakes that we made in the old marriage and build a brand new marriage where both of you will be happier than you were before. Yes, it's possible. Yes, couples that properly reconcile after an affair are happier after than they were before. Okay? So that was tip number one. Tip number two is own it and clean it up. Since we know that the affair was a result of a broken marriage, That means that you both need to take responsibility for the mistakes that you made in your marriage before the affair. Now, you can't control how he handles this work on his end, but you can work on your end, and that is in an effort for you to be a better version of yourself. In the women that I coach, the three biggest mistakes that we find that they need to work on are, number one, making disrespectful comments to their husband and having some disrespectful behaviors. Now, I'm going to tell you, we're not going to go into detail on what these are, but I can guarantee you don't even realize you're doing them. You're not doing them on purpose. These are some hidden secrets about men that I teach my clients about. So I want to make sure that I know you are not doing it on purpose. Number two, the second mistake is mothering him. And I know you're just trying to be helpful. You're not trying to act like you're his mother, but for some of us with certain personality traits, this is what happens, and it drives the men crazy. And the third is a lot of us communicate our wants and needs in a way that our husband hears more as a command or a demand, and so that's very off-putting to them and irritating. And so those are some of the things that you need to look out for. Like, take some time with pen and paper and scan your marriage and think about times maybe when you've not been your best self. See if you can find any disrespectful comments or where you were mothering him or where you're being demanding. And as you uncover them, own up to them, and apologize to your husband. And there might even be things as recent in some recent fights and arguments that you lost your cool in. So that's tip number two, own it and clean it up. And this is a tip, you might need help with this one. You might need to hire a coach or a counselor to help you look at this. Tip number three, get with your God. If you are a woman of faith, it's more important than ever for you to have a relationship with God. Talk to him. Ask him for help. Pray for your husband. If your husband has not agreed to end the affair, you can pray for a hedge of protection around him. Imagine a thorny hedge that will keep the other woman away. And you can trust that God wants your marriage to survive, and he will do whatever he can to help you. Give him this problem. It's too big for you, right? You can't make your husband love you, but God can help you lead your husband back to you. So that's tip number three, get with your God. Tip number four, realize only you can make you happy. It's important for you to realize that only you can make you happy. Without realizing it, you were probably relying on your husband to make you happy. And you will know this is true because now that he's gone, you feel miserable. You feel like all of your happiness is gone and you don't know how to be happy. Relying on your husband to make you happy is too much pressure for one man. So it's time for you to start learning how to make yourself happy. And guess what? A happier person is much more attractive than a miserable one, right? So this is a benefit. So I do want to tell you how to get started on this because it's something easy you can do right away. Start by making a list of 20 things that make you happy, that you love doing, that make you happy. And then start doing 1 to 3 of these things every day. It could be coffee with a friend, walking through a nature preserve, listening to jazz music, dancing. It could be your dedicated prayer time. Whatever it is, find it and do it. You've got to remember that your mission is that you are responsible for your happiness. And if you will do this, you will be a much more attractive person to be around, and you will feel much happier. So that was tip number 4. Realize only you can make you happy. Tip number 5 is talk less. So you know how men and women differ in their communication styles, right? We talk way more as women. We want to talk everything through. We want to talk this situation to death. And we want our husband to do a lot of talking too, because he has got a lot of explaining to do, right? We want details. We want to know what went wrong. We have a million questions. That's how we are as women. But as men, all of this talking is very hard on a man and could drag him down emotionally. It will make him feel like he does not want to be around you. So for now, just for now, while you're trying to work on attracting your husband back into your marriage and making a commitment back to your marriage, for now, keep your conversations with him short. Vent to a friend instead. Yes, you deserve answers, and you will get them later. But for right now, maybe make a list of your questions and keep them in a journal somewhere so that you're not worried about forgetting them. But keep your conversations short. So that was tip number 5, talk less. So if tip number 5 is talk less, tip number 6 is listen more. When your man does talk, listen to him. Don't interrupt him. Don't try to defend yourself. Let him get his feelings out. Give him like social cues when he's talking that you're listening, like make eye contact. Be a very attentive and active listener. And then when he's finished, whatever he's talking to you about, whether it's a rant about something, even if he's going through a rant and blaming you for everything, in this initial stage, just thank him for sharing it and leave it at that. There will be time later to go into more detail. But for right now, it's a very loving thing for you to just let someone talk. And it's probably going to shock your husband because he's used to you interrupting him and defending yourself. But for right now, be a loving wife and let him speak without being interrupted, and just thank him for sharing his thoughts. You are going to hear a lot more about what's going on inside that head of his if you will do this. But so often in our rush to defend ourselves and fix things and make everything right, we interrupt, and then that just throws the whole train off. So that was tip number 6, listen more. Tip number 7 is be strong. Men in this situation hate it when women act needy. It's imperative that you be strong right now and not needy. Save your tears for your pillow or your best friend. And I know you want to, but don't throw things in his face, like his vows or his children. This will repel him and make him want to run the other way. The message that you want to send with your demeanor, with your words and your actions is, I love you, I want to work on this, but I don't need you. And not that you necessarily have to say, I don't need you, but the way that you want to present yourself is with dignity and grace. And it's true, you don't need him. The only being that you need in this world is God. You don't need your husband. You love him. You want to be with him. So don't get needy. Don't cry. Don't beg. Don't call him all the time. Don't text him. This just makes you look weak, and that is going to repel him. You need to look strong. Take where you feel this weakness, take this to God. Ask him to help you. You're asking for your husband to say, I love you, and everything's going to be all right, and we're going to work this out, and then that's going to make you happy. But girls, that's not what God wants. God wants you to get your happiness, your true happiness and joy through him. Your marriage is the icing on the cake of your life. You are your own independent being, and you really want to be with this guy. You love this guy, but you're not going to die if he leaves you, okay? So this is where we need to be strong and take our weakness to God. If your husband has not agreed to end the affair, you might feel the need to set some healthy boundaries while you wait it out. So boundaries should be set with kindness and calmly, but they're a way for you to protect your heart and those of your children as well. And it shows your husband that you're strong and you respect himself. So this will look different for everyone, but keep that in mind as you go along. So that was tip number 7, be strong. Tip number 8, kill him with kindness. So I know this is the last thing on your mind right now because you probably really do want to hurt him because you're so angry and hurt. But if you will work on kindness, you will improve your chances of getting him back immensely. So this is for the time being as you're trying to invite him back to work on your marriage. Do not say anything negative to him. Don't criticize him or his choices. And I know it's going to be hard because there's probably going to be some really crazy judgments and decisions that he's making. But for your part, at this moment, your job is to smile and act happy and be positive. For now, you need to hide your pain from him. There will be time later when you decide to work on your marriage together where you can share these things. But right now, it's important to be positive and to be a safe place for him to land, not a ticking time bomb waiting to go off that's going to freak him out. And the other thing you could do is be really grateful. Thank him for any little thing that he does, like picking up the kids or mowing the lawn or making a home repair or something like that. So being grateful will help show him appreciation, which is something he needs, and he will certainly not be expecting it from you because he knows you're really angry right now. There's a side benefit to this kindness and this gratitude is that it's going to make you feel happier too, because you girls, what you focus on increases. This situation is so hard that it would be easier to sit in your pain. It would be easier just to be negative. It's going to take energy for you to be positive and to pretend that you're okay right now. But you need to do that if you want to invite him back into working on your marriage with you, okay? So that was tip number 8, kill him with kindness. Tip number 9, I'm having some fun with words here. Don't take it the wrong way, but I'm saying bring your sexy back. So whenever you see him, be sure to look awesome. Be dressed appropriately for wherever you're at, out in public or whatever. Do your hair and makeup. I know that you feel like the Walking Dead, but messy hair and no makeup and yoga pants are not going to bring him back. And I'm not saying this just for vanity and to allure a man. I'm also saying it because you need to dress like you used to in the beginning of your relationship for you. Remember how good you felt then and how you made your effort to look your best in that? That makes you feel good. Like, think about that. When you're dressed up and you have your hair and makeup done, you feel better. You really do. Like, even if you're sick, think about a day when you're sick at home and you're, all messy hair and all that and laying on the couch. You feel like crap. But what happens if you can get up and shower and, put on some clothes and makeup? It actually makes you feel better and more a part of society and everything that's going on. So it's also for him because if he's looking at you looking like crap, he's not going to be attracted to that. He's going to be like, I don't want that. That's like so yucky. Not yucky, but like it's low. Like it's low energy. It doesn't feel good. But if he sees you like, dressed nicely and going about your day and doing your things, that shows his strength, and he is going to be attracted to that. So this is for you and for him. So that was tip number 9, bring your sexy back. Now, tip number 10 is to get support. Trying to get your husband back after his affair is going to be a very hard sell to your friends and family. Everyone around you is going to be telling you to dump him. Once a cheater, always a cheater, they're going to say. If you're going to get your husband back, you're going to have to tune these people out and stay focused on your mission. So consider hiring a marriage coach to support you and guide you through this part of it. Research actually proves that one person can save the marriage, and you can be a part of this statistic. So that was tip number 10, get support. So like I said in the beginning, these are some things that you would do kind of right away after an affair was discovered and in the process of helping your husband decide to come back into your marriage. And then once he does say, okay, yes, I want to work on the marriage with you, then you will need to get more professional help and talking to each other and communicating with each other and learning new ways of being with each other to rebuild your new marriage. You can reach out to me for guidance and assistance if you are going through a crisis like this. You can visit my website, tinaheisman.com. You can email me, tina@heisman.net. I also have a free resource on my website right now. It's a mini marriage makeover. It's to help you fix some challenges in your marriage that maybe if your husband hasn't had an affair, this could be a way for you to start just working on improving your marriage. So my website is tinaheisman.com. Don't forget to join the Happy Wives community on Facebook. So that's facebook.com/the Happy Wives community. And, of course, I offer one-on-one marriage coaching. So stop by my website or email me to learn more. So that's it with my content for today. Thank you so very much for listening.